Yidhra is an outer god from the Cthulhu Mythos and seems to share some similarities with the much more famous Shub-Niggurath. And with these strange similarities, some have thought that Yidhra might be some aspect of the prominent outer god. However, this is not the case because Yidhra is unquestioningly her own distinct entity. In truth, there are just as many differences the two have as similarities. And the origin of Yidhra is primordial. This outer god came to Earth before life had even evolved on the planet. As such, she is a primordial horror that's been among humanity since their very creation. Surviving such a chaotic and changing environment, Yidhra manifested the ability to take on the characteristics of any creature that she devoured. Over time, Yidhra split herself into different avatars, though each part shares her consciousness. She prefers to manifest as a beautiful and seductive woman, making the number of those who have seen her proper monstrous eldritch avatar forms very few. And like all outer gods, her true eldritch form is beyond the material plane. Yet, her avatars are mighty as any formidable entities in the mythos. Her avatars usually conceal their true forms behind a powerful illusion, appearing as a comely young woman. Only favored members of her cult can see her as she actually is, but her various avatars appear unique visually.
100 April winds disperse her fragrance. 1,000 wet Octobers scour her footprints. The ruthless years assail the ancient memory of her presence. Yet, where Yidhra walks, the hills do not forget.
John Paul Lechat, where Yidhra walks. Yidhra is also called the Dream Witch, or Yitho-Ra, and many have worshipped her as an Earth Mother in the past and the present. Her ability to entrance others through a projected dreamlike state is well known. But what's truly fascinating about the Outer God is her unique life cycle, in which she absorbs other beings and assimilates their beneficial evolutionary traits, and takes on the memories of her victims. When the entity devours a life form, she acquires the ability to take on that entity's form or reproduce bodily parts of that creature. The entity is possibly connected to the darkness somehow, and with all the countless memories absorbed from beasts and humans alike, this entity has literally lived countless lives. So she is immortal in more ways than one, since in our world, she mainly lives through avatars, including one named Yolanda, but her favorite is Madam Yi, a beautiful Asian woman that wears cascading red, black, and white robes. She has a painted face, which resembles a porcelain doll, and has razor-sharp fingernails that easily shred both flesh and anything else that gets in her way. Madame Yi exclusively manifests in China, where her female-led cults provide young men to have sex. When done, she kills them with extreme violence. Her children from such unions are deformed and monstrous creatures that many have their miserable lives ended by being reabsorbed into their mother. But she allows some of her children to either be raised by her cultists or devoured by them. Her avatars are incredibly dangerous and project powerful illusions that can fool and perform awe-inspiring feats. One of the leading powers associated with this mighty and terrible earth goddess is telepathy, and this mind psionics allows instant communication with her servitors and other entities that serve her. These beings are known as the, quote, Lurkers in the desert, Xothra and Y'hath, and her cult named the Children of Yidhra, and this cult is worldwide, who think of the outer god as an earth goddess and not an eldritch horror, for the most part. But there's also lore that chronicles the Mothers of Woe cult, which is universally led by women, and in any case, the nature of her cults is up for debate, but nothing should be taken as solid fact because none have ever infiltrated them and lived. So feel free to analyze them and come to your own conclusions. With the Mother of Woe being yet another avatar of the god and requires fresh genetic material just like all her other avatars do. The cults that form around the outer god always take on aspects of her, such as Madame Yi. They take on pale white skin, and their fingernails grow long and crazy sharp. The entity communicates with her cultists across the planet through telepathy, but Yidhra has many arcane powers, with telepathy just being one. One of her primary weapons is a hypnotic song that few can resist. If the song fails, her next go-to weapon is her long single braid of hair, which is not hair at all, but morphs into an eldritch tentacle with a black pointed tip extending to around 10 feet and can easily crush metal. When she utilizes this physical attack, the avatar will ordinarily levitate to attack from above. Sometimes, the sharp tip of her hair injects the victims with deadly poison after it penetrates their skin. Death from this poison is rumored to be a fate worse than death and activates every possible pain receiver in the body. So, dying from the poison, the victim is fully awake and aware until the very end in the most excruciating pain a mortal can possibly feel. She also has limited shape-shifting and the ability to project thoughts into the minds of others in a manner that is much more subtle than telepathic communication. These projections can even create dreamlike worlds in the minds of humans they mistake for reality. The alluring nature in which she can hypnotize and manipulate mental states is so subtle that her victims are very rarely aware of what's happening. However, the more the avatar embodies the powers of its true form, the more eldritch and madness-inducing her abilities become. Hence, it's most likely the avatars limit their power as a form of entertainment. So if one is facing Yidhra, there is no hope. One of the benefits of worshipping her is that the entity can provide bountiful crops and healthy livestock. Her worshippers can also gain a horrific form of immortality by merging with her, in the sense that their memories will live on forever inside of her. Though the benefits of joining her various cults seem lackluster at best to any sane person, there is no shortage of worshippers who flock to her nonetheless. Many times the cult members of Madame Yi take on ceramic-like skin as they slowly mutate. Their eyes and mouths remain closed when not going about their business, but upon awakening, the ceramic around their eyes and mouth crack at the facial movement. Horrific, inhuman eyes look out from the ceramic face, and razor teeth are revealed behind their blooded lips. If attacked, their bodies will crack and splinter similar to ceramic, but the cracks will fuse back together in time, and their white ceramic flesh will heal even from the most grievous wounds.
Yidhra, the Dream Witch, clouding the minds of her followers. Dream Witch, hiding her shape in illusion. Dream Witch, cloaking her shape in strange beauty.
Walter C. DeBille Jr., Where Yidhra Walks. One of the main reasons Yidhra has such a strong presence in China is the sheer psychic presence of the massive population and their culture of ancestor reverence. These attributes feed Yidra's evolutionary and atavistic urges, to which her instincts are to absorb and evolve and gain information. It is literally an endless supply of all the things the outer god desires, so there's no surprise the entity prefers manifestation in China, despite having cult power bases across the entire civilized world. The more raw genetic matter to absorb, the better, and in China, her insatiable appetite is always satiated.